But it's tough. Consistency is tough. But what I'm really, and I'm talking to myself when I say this, once you tap into being consistent, it makes your life easier. Because now you're getting in, and those are good habits. It's good habits to be consistent, especially whatever your field is. If it's dropping content, if you stay consistent, only more opportunities are going to come by that.
I'm thinking them wealthy thoughts, baby. Everything about you. What's up, everybody? It's your boy, StephenMotivate, back again with another episode of Wealthy Thoughts with my co-host, my homeboy, my friend, Mr. Steve James.
What's up, brother?
What's up, man?
Man, another day, bro. Blessed to be alive, dog.
Man, I feel you on that, brother. I feel you.
Blessed to be alive.
Maybe the conversation today is consistency. Consistency. I found like in business that being consistent is super important. But I've also found that it, at least for me, maybe not for everyone, it can be also super challenging to stay consistent with a thing. Maybe because I'm ADD and I like to jump around to 30 different things at once, or possibly because it's just hard for every human to be consistent and to stick with the thing. So talk about stick with itness, sticking with something. I think a few days ago, we kind of talked about this when we were talking about focus, but I feel like there is a difference between focus and consistency. What would you say is the difference between like focus and consistency?
I feel like they go hand to hand, actually, because in order to stay consistent, you have to be focused. And if I'm an artist and I'm recording music every day and I'm putting out reels to whatever it is that I'm recording, that's a focus-driven thing.
Yeah.
So in order to constantly drop, it's going to take a huge amount of focus.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's true. I think the thing for me that would make it slightly different is that, I'm focused on that thing, but you could be focused on something and kind of lose your creative prowess. I'm focused on singing. I'm focused on music, but I can't think of a song. I can't think of what to write next. I'm focused on it, but so like for me, I think that's where consistency has to come in, because you got to find a way to like have a thing or have a habit that's going to support you coming up with a song. So let's say if you're a songwriter, I could imagine that would be just writing down a few words. Now, maybe nothing comes of it. Maybe you can't get a full song of it. But if you could say between
at least,
between 2 and 3 every day, I'm gonna jot down a few lyrics. And now you're forming a habit of that habit being a consistent practice of a thing that, no, it may not be a full song right out.
Right.
But the fact that you're putting little droplets of a song down or of lyrics down, you're at least, it's like you bringing some of the ingredients into the kitchen to make it happen.
No, I agree with that. Consistency is just such a hard thing. Like people really don't, like when you look at these influencers and when you look at these artists and just certain people that they constantly have to drop content.
Yeah.
Just content in itself. To stay consistent on content in itself is hard.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And like you said, it takes reps. Like you have to get into the swing of it. And that's really the easiest way, because this is what I've been trying to do, is schedule just going off of the fatherhood thing, but just scheduling time when stuff gets done.
Mm-hmm.
Like if I know that this is the time that I'm getting the kids together and getting them to school or whatever, this is the time, but then I know that I have from, 9:30 a.m. to 5:30 to really get things done.
Yeah.
So a 8-hour work day.
Yeah.
So in that 8-hour work day, it has to come a time where things have to get done in that 8-hour span.
Yeah.
So I can't spend 8 hours on one thing when I have multiple things happening.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So if I'm shooting content, okay, bet here goes an hour or 2 hours out of that 8 hours that's designated towards content.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So like once you schedule it, I think that makes it better.
Yeah.
And then on top of that, you can stay consistent because now with social media, they have like the scheduling app.
Mm-hmm.
So for you, if you shooting content and you shoot a month worth of content, 30 reels, or let's just say it's 60 reels, you're doing 2 reels a day. Now you have 2 reels that you can schedule out for the whole month.
Yep.
You know what I mean? And then it becomes a thing where now people really think you're working, but it's like all I did was stacked up on my content.
Yeah.
I stacked up on my content and then I scheduled it. So now it's just like, oh, you're a workhorse. That's
Right.
consistency.
Yeah.
Because now it's like, oh, let me work smarter. How can I work smarter? I don't have 2 hours to be able to do this every day, but I have 2 hours, 3-4 hours to be able to shoot 60 reels.
Right. And batch them up.
You know what I mean? Batch them up and then
Yeah.
put them out. Now you just schedule them. Now you make your job easier.
Yeah.
It's like the hardest part is getting all the content done because you're constantly shooting all of that stuff. But they just, man, the technology in these phones, they just make it so easy for you not to be consistent.
Right. Right. To even
like
though,
literally.
and easy for you to be consistent, like you were just saying,
Right.
for scheduling. But the equal opposite thing is also true. Easy for you not to be consistent.
Exactly.
It's like
You know that I can schedule. I mean, I've fallen in. I've known about the scheduling app, and it's
forever.
like, why don't I have 2 months scheduled out already?
Forever. Yep.
The whole year.
Yeah, the whole year.
Like, if you're really gonna break it down, a year is just insane. But at least 2-3 months.
Yeah.
Well, now those 2-3 months, it's like, okay, I'm creating for the next 2-3 months.
Yeah. And I think it was back in 2018, maybe. I don't know. I had just came out to LA for something, and I was I think I told you this. I'm like, I'm about to schedule out the whole year, and I did.
Mm-hmm.
No kids, no wife at the time, and I had like all types of stuff. If you go back to my Twitter and stuff like that, you'll see StephenMotivate posting little motivational stuffs every day. But you know what was interesting about that? As I reflect back, I was super consistent because I was posting every day. It was already scheduled out. But what resulted from that, like it was like one thing led to another thing. So I started getting interactions and it started getting comments, but I wasn't there to comment back.
Your engagement wasn't
My
there.
engagement wasn't there because I did schedule it. I forgot about it. I was doing something else. And so that to me was like, oh, well, you do this thing, but now you also got to do this thing. You got to like complete the loop. Because then I never saw whatever I thought I should have saw from it. And then it's almost like, all right, well, I tried that. And I feel like we a lot of times get stuck in that trap. I tried it, but it's like
it didn't work the way I wanted it.
It didn't work the way I wanted to do. So I got out, or I didn't keep hitting. I didn't keep I was doing it and it showed me something. But like, okay, it's like if you building something, I guess, or it's like if you tearing down something, maybe you got to keep knocking away at it. But then you might run into something that, okay, this tool isn't going to work anymore. I need something bigger. I need a drill, or now I need a sledgehammer.
Yeah.
Like a little hammer ain't going to get it done. And so I think that's the thing about consistency is you can become a consistent at a thing, but then it can lead to you having to build capacity in another area. And you have to like realize that once I go down this path, that it could lead to something else. So it's like going back to the songwriting example. If you're the artist too, it's like, okay, now I did it once, I got some songs done, but now I need to tour, or now I need to, you know, I don't know, write for someone else. Another artist wants me as well. So it's like those things start to compound, which can be a good thing, but it also can be, you know, equally as challenging, because you could also at that point give up, stop swinging, because it's like, man, I know what consistency can do, but it still didn't lead to, you know, it didn't get me all the way where I wanted to go.
And I think I think everyone deals with that. I think it's a matter of maybe the instant gratification. So it's like, oh, I'm being consistent. I'm putting in all this work. Like me. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But then it's like, no, I'm going to like you, but it's going to take me 3 months to like you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's going to take me 3 months to see you drop that song. It's going to take 3 months for you to drop that content for me to say, oh, okay, he's really consistent. Like what LaRussell's doing is insane.
Yeah, what is LaRussell doing?
LaRussell is he's a hip hop artist.
Okay.
But he's fully independent. And what he did, he was constantly dropping.
Oh yeah, he had a crazy track. I'm looking him up now.
Yeah. Get in My Bag is one of his good ones.
Yeah.
But he built this pergola in his backyard, and through like concerts, basically you pay what you want to pay to get in.
Wow.
So now he's like really changing the game for artists. You know what I mean? And how artists should move and operate. He's even given split shares to artists.
Oh,
I
really?
mean to consumers.
Oh wow.
So he's like just doing, you know, just different stuff. And a lot of people are, you know, they're trying to sign him. You'll see a lot of interviews he does, but they're trying to sign him. But he's like, I'm bringing everything to the table. Y'all have to be really talking about big numbers for me to, you know, to do that.
Give
but
this away.
He's a true definition of consistent blueprint. Him, Russ, you know what I mean? Like Russ is dropping a song every week. I tried it. I'm like, I'm gonna drop a song every week for a year. I got to about 25 and that's when we had the baby and it kind of shut off.
Yep.
But
yeah, that's what life
then it stopped.
Forever.
It's tough. Consistency is tough, but what I'm really, and I'm talking to myself when I say this, once you tap into being consistent, it makes your life easier, because now you're getting in, and those are good habits. It's good habits to be consistent, especially whatever your field is. If it's dropping content, if you stay consistent, only more opportunities are going to come by that. So if I know how to engage, because really it's the engagement part. It's like you said, you want to just put it on autopilot and hope people, but it's just like, well, someone says, oh, I like this and everything, and I'm not responding, thanks.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, because my day done got away from me. Because that happens to me. I'll post something, because I keep notifications off on my phone.
Yeah, me too.
When it comes to any social media.
Yeah, I have to.
So the only way that I know that someone hit me is if I actually go onto the app. Yeah. Like, I'm not getting so-and-so responded to you on, like, it's too much for me. Because now I'm always engaged on, I'm like, I have other stuff to do. I can't allow social media to run my life.
Yeah.
Now, it has to run your life in the sense of you dropping content, especially if you want to monetize off of it. Like, that's the whole point of having a social. I hate social media.
Yeah.
Like, if I didn't have to have it, I wouldn't be on it.
Yeah.
But I have to have it.
Yeah.
Like, once your resources and once you reach a certain point, it's like you have to have it.
Yep.
You know what I mean? And the biggest thing is learning how to monetize off.
Because that's where everyone else is at. That's where the eyeballs is at. That's
you
where
have
the
to learn
ears
how
is
to
at.
you have to learn how to monetize off of it.
Yeah.
And staying consistent is unfortunately the way you monetize.
Right. And I like how you said that it becomes a thing. It develops a thing of its own. So the engagement piece, like, it's just a different beast. And now, you hear this now, and maybe people didn't realize it before, but you're really just building an online community. And so if you don't engage with your community, then you're undermining it. You know, I'm not going to comment on this guy's, on that. I'm not going to leave a comment or make a post or interact because this is all fake.
Right.
It's not really like, and I think that's the thing, is that it creates a life of its own, and you either there for it and you run with it, or you step back and it's going to fizzle. Because if you're not there for it, then it's not going to be the community, and it's not gonna thrive.
No, facts.
And I think that applies to any business. Once you get in business, and that's why they tell you to be consistent, is because once it starts going, you almost have to develop the muscle, the habit of whatever it is. If it's selling cookies, then people are going to want to leave feedback on the cookies. They're going to want to sit there and have an hour-long conversation with you about how their grandma used to make. And you're going to create a thing, and it's going to take on a life of its own. And while you're a solopreneur, as they would say, or as you're a one person, and you've got to figure out how to do it right. And so your point, and Dr. Darius makes this point a lot about having an ideal week. And sticking to an ideal week. What does success look like for me in light of my goals, in light of what I've learned in the past, my present, and where I hope to be in the future? Like, what should my week look like? And as often as I can, how do I stick to it? How do I chip away at that week? Because that's me being consistent.
Right.
And you ain't going to be able to do it every time. But, you look at preachers like him, it's very clear what he's got to do on Sunday. It ain't no wavering on that. Are we building a church? When do people go to church? On Sunday.
Yeah.
And then I got to nurture you throughout the week. He's also an entrepreneur. Okay, I got to do, and so that's going to create, when do I wake up in the morning? About when do I go to sleep, or what clothes am I going to wear? And so all these things. Now, of course, the bigger you get and you got helpers,
right,
and you got people that can pick out your clothes, and you got people that can make sure when you come in the building, the lights is on, the air conditioning is on, and all that. Okay, that's going to help your situation.
Right.
And when you get to a certain level of success, you can do that. But sometimes you'll never get there if you don't start with, what's my consistent week look like?
Yeah.
If I could close my eyes and say, this is what I want to get done every week, where am I going to put that energy? And you put enough energy towards a thing, like we talked about a few days ago with the focus, laser focus, consistency. I don't know.
No,
Compounding consistency is going to create something that you otherwise can't create.
Yeah.
It otherwise doesn't happen unless that consistency gets compounded, and then whatever else results from that, you're able to nurture that too, right? Because you get more money, that means you got more responsibility.
Yep.
You get more customers, that means you potentially need to have more customer service.
Yep.
You get more phone calls, that means you need to either have more people answering the phone, or you need more phones, or you need to have more space on your voicemail. Like, it's all going to create another thing.
Yeah.
And so the more you stay consistent with it, the more you're going to actually build a thing that's going to be, you're going to look up, it's like, oh, this is bigger than me at this point, and you will need help with it, but it comes down to staying consistent.
Yeah. Nah, I mean, you hit it on the head with that, bro. It just doesn't stop, because the minute you stop is when things slow down. But in the midst of it, you don't see it. You don't see the consistency paying off, because it's like, man, I'm doing this, but
you don't see it at all.
Yeah, it's crazy.
It's like having the children. It's like you don't see them growing up until you look back at photos and like, oh wow,
yeah, you've grown.
They've grown up,
in just a little bit of time. So it's like, okay, if I'm staying consistent for a year, if you can stay consistent and do whatever it is that you're doing for a year, something has to shake. Something eventually is going to stick.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's just like, oh, you like you said, you look back at a picture like, oh.
It's like, you were never going to walk. It took you, at that time, it was like, she's never going to get walking.
Now they're walking.
Now they're walking. It's like they're never
tearing up everything.
And it's like, as soon as they started walking, they never, oh, we really want her to talk. We really want them to talk. As soon as they start talking your freaking head off.
They won't shut up. So how was that? Let's pick, because last couple weeks ago we talked about fatherhood, but you never talked about
the girls part. Yeah, but so for me, fatherhood is it's, you know, I rely a lot on my wife. She helps out a lot because I've been so focused on the business, but I love how my girls, they just love me. Mm-hmm. They just, but they do, it's like a competition with them. Mm. If one, you know, I'll do horsey with them or something where, you know, and then the other one wants to get it. If one gets on my back, the other one wants to get on my back. Mm-hmm. You know, it's like always a competition. Mm-hmm. And so I'm just curious of how long it will last. And you talked about your friends having, you know, with daughters being emotional. They're definitely emotional. Mm-hmm. No. Okay. Now you're crying. You know, it's like, no, that's not a reason to cry. Like, right. You just can't have any more juice right now. This is just, you've had 30 cartons,
30 yogurt bites,
30 juice boxes. You need some real food.
You know what's funny? You hear the term like, "Who you eat a child of a child eats you out of house of a home or a house," whatever that saying is. You don't really understand that until you have kids, man. Yep. Because it's like nonstop snacking.
Yeah. Yeah.
But then when it's time to like eat, you don't want to eat because you done snacked all day.
You done snacked. Yep. But then you crying because you was hungry or you needed a snack.
Yeah.
So now you got that to get them to stop whining. And now when it's time to have real food, it's like, oh, I don't want any.
Yeah, I don't want it. I don't want any.
Then when it's time to go to bed, it's like, oh, I'm starving. I can't sleep. Yeah. And it's a manipulation thing too. I know my girls are smart. They know what they're doing. Sure. They know what they're doing. But I'm trying to be, like you said before, like growing up in a 2-parent household, when times get hard, I feel the obligation. Like, and I'm fine with that. You know, people say, oh, I don't feel obligated. No, I feel the obligation of family. I'm like, this is work. Like, and I'm okay with it being work. Mm-hmm. Because to me, I wouldn't want my daughters, you know, as much as I can, I would not want my daughters to grow up in a non-2-parent household because I grew up in a 2-parent household. Right. And I think that was like a blessing I got. Mm-hmm. And I think there were certainly times in my parents' relationship where they probably didn't like each other, wanted to go their separate ways. Maybe for certain seasons, maybe it would have been better if they weren't together. Mm-hmm. But I think they stayed together for me.
Yeah.
For my brothers and sisters. Mm-hmm. Like, I'm going to sacrifice because I think it's better for you to grow up with this stability.
Right.
And I'm like, man, that to me is like, okay, I have to be consistent as a father. And I try to make up for the fact that I'm gone sometimes and I'll give them gifts or spend as much time as I can with them when I'm there. But it's like, to me, in my mind, it's like, if I have my choice and things go my way, which hopefully I do, I'm not going to give up on my family. I'm going to stay consistent with that.
For sure.
Like, that's where my mind is because I feel like they deserve that. Mm-hmm. And, you know, so, and I just don't want them to have any less than what I've had.
Yeah.
You know,
I mean, I like that. I like the, you know, being a consistent father because we see that. We see inconsistent fathers.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean? And inconsistent mothers. You know what I mean? Like we fall into it like, oh, I need to be better as a dad. I need to be better as a husband. You know, we see how you can go through the motions.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's just like, oh no, I need this to be a more of a consistent thing of me being a dad.
Yeah.
Like, I need to do these certain things. So, you know, and it's like I said, this is all learning. All of this stuff is new.
Yeah, it's all
you know what I mean? Like, learning how to be a father is not just a thing that just happens.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, some people have it in them though. I can't say that. Like, I feel like our wives they have that in them. That motherly nature of, you know, taking care of the home, taking care of the kids. Like, we're blessed when it comes to that. You know what I mean? Because, you know,
we still got to have that episode. We got to have them on and talk through what's it like from their perspective being married to entrepreneurs.
100%. Because that's important, and people want to hear that. People need to hear that, because it's like, you're not the only person that's going through that.
Right.
You know what I mean? So, but I commend all the mothers. I commend all the fathers that's in there, that's actively in their kids' lives, because, you know, I couldn't even imagine being a deadbeat dad.
I can imagine it. I can definitely imagine it, because you be thinking sometimes like, I'm out. I'm going to the, like, do you remember when you used to go out? Like,
100%.
All right, like I was thinking last Sunday, like, I remember there would be Sundays where I would go out, like a day party or something. Like, I was like, I ain't did that in forever. Like,
no, for sure.
And that part of my life is done. But you know, you can see how people like, I'm out, because it is a sacrifice. It is a responsibility.
It's a lot.
But
it's a lot. It's a lot of work. And why I say that about because when you look at your children, it's like, it's just different. Like, for me to just look at you and be like, oh, I'm just gonna just jump ship.
Yeah, that's,
you know what I mean? Like, I just pray I'm never in that mind frame of disappearing. Even though sometimes I want to disappear and just be like, oh, let me just get away. You know what I mean? And,
but it's not
and block out everything. But this is like, you just can't do that. You still have to, because they still need you. You know what I mean? Like, your spouse still needs you.
Yeah.
And in order to keep that going, you have to be consistently working on yourself.
Right.
You know what I mean? I think that's the biggest thing. It's like, you need to, as a human being, like, I have to constantly work on myself as a human being, as a dad, as a husband, as a friend. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, all of that matters.
It's so much.
Because I'm like, I want to be a good friend.
Yeah.
Like, I look at myself as being a good friend. I look at myself as being a good husband, good dad. Like, that matters.
Yeah, so much.
You know what I mean? Because some people are just scumbags. And, you know, I pride myself on that.
And you should, because at the end of the day, that type of thing is worth more than all the money.
For sure.
Than all the success and accolades and cars and material things. And I look, and I even think about that too. I'm like, man, if I didn't have a fam, I could probably go a little bit harder. I could probably work a little bit longer. I could probably start one more company. But it's like, it wouldn't be worth it.
Yeah.
That stuff it's fun. It gives your mind something to do. But just the pure love of a child or family, your spouse, like, just when everything stops and you could just be like, yeah, if nothing else, if I don't make another dollar, I know that this person loves me, and I know I love this person. And that's priceless.
Yeah. No, that's a fact. It's priceless. Fatherhood is priceless.
It is.
Being consistent is priceless.
Staying consistent will help you on the journey. Look, that's my final thoughts, man. Stay consistent. Keep going with your business. If you're a father out there, keep doing your thing as it relates to being a good father, man. I mean, I think one is certainly more rewarding than the other, but you can win at both. You can certainly win at both.
That's a fact.
Final thoughts?
Man, we touched on a lot on this one.
We did. We got deep on this. I love you, my family.
Yeah, no, I love my family. That's it.
Yeah. All right, y'all. Peace. I'm thinking them wealthy thoughts, baby.